What's up? We are back. Road to the Derby Live 2026. It is Curlin Florida Derby Day. I'm Dan Tordjman with America's Best Racing, joined by two Ryans. One Ryan wasn't enough, so we got Ryan Anderson and Ryan Petruniak. Welcome to the show. Ryan, you're up top with me. What's up?
What's going on? Yeah, it's going to be really easy for you to, differentiate what Ryan you're talking to. So I'm looking forward to that as much as I'm looking forward to the 3 stakes races we got to go over today.
No doubt, no doubt. And I think I got it wrong. Ryan A, you're on top with me. Ryan P, you're at the bottom. First of all, where are you checking in from? Because you're new to our audience here.
Yeah, I'm in Lexington, Kentucky. If you're familiar with Lexington, I am on the exact opposite side of New Circle of Keeneland. But we're at the home office today. We're gonna pick some winners of Gulfstream.
Awesome. Well, very specific there. If you're trying to triangulate, look for his location exactly. If you're looking to track him down, if you don't like his picks, you know where to find him.
You know where he's at.
You know where he's at. All right. So this is what we're going to do. We've got the races we're going to show you here. We're streaming the races here. We got the next 3 races leading up to the Curlin Florida Derby. We start with race 12. As you can see, 12 minutes to post. It is the Sand Spring Stakes. Following that is the Pan American Stakes. And then after that, we've got the big one, the Curlin Florida Derby. So we could talk through maybe a little pick 3 action, maybe some doubles. We're going to have a couple of guests joining us here. Kyle Roscoe is live at Gulfstream Park. We also have a jockey who was supposed to ride in the Florida Derby. He's standing by. And then we've got another special guest for Ryan Anderson's top pick. We had to bring in one of the owners of his top pick. We're not going to reveal it just yet. A little bit of a tease. Stick with us. So, but yeah, why don't we do this? Why don't we just jump into this race, the Sand Spring Stakes, and then we'll gradually move into the other action. So, Ryan A, how did you break this one down?
Yeah, this is a tough race. Obviously, your favorite in Sweet Rebecca looks tough because on her best day, she absolutely, I think, wins. But it's always a question mark of whether or not you're going to get her best day. You have a horse, Hang the Moon, that's taking a good amount of money. A horse that I'm surprised that is 9-2 right now is my top pick. It's the number 7. Yes, it is, for Junior Alvarado, Brad Cox, getting back onto the turf for the first time since early in the 3-year-old season. And I'm a fan of this horse. I think there's enough pace to kind of set things up. 9-2, looking at the will pays, looks like should drift up maybe in the 7-1 range. And that's more than a good enough price. Right now, if this price discrepancy were to hold, I'd probably have to go to my second choice in the 10, Candy Quest at 5-1, because the value on that is much greater. But I think the 7's going to float up a bit. So I'm 7-10 in here to start my pick 3.
Nice. Okay. 9-2. We like that. Ryan P. First of all, what is your approach to handicap? Are you a pace handicapper? Do you rely on particular numbers? What is your general approach?
Yeah, I'm mostly pace. I do a little bit of everything, but I think pace makes the race, just like a lot of people. And especially when especially when you can find horses that I really like finding favorites that don't finish as well as it may appear at first glance, and then trying to beat those favorites. That's my favorite angle to go with. Not really the case in this race, but especially in turf racing, you want to look for a horse with a good setup and a horse that can really outkick them late. And Ryan A and I are pretty much in lockstep on this race. I'm going to use one other. I'm in agreement on the 7, but I was hoping for a lot better than 9-2, so it's going to be tough at that price. I'm also going to use, in addition to the ones he mentioned, Maggie Go. I think Flavian should get her a really nice ride from the rail, and I like it. It's definitely in deeper water today. A lot tougher field than she's faced, but I think that she has the stuff to be able to run them down, and if she gets the right trip, she might kind of work one out. And there's no one I'd rather up on the turf at Gulfstream than Pratt.
Nice. Yeah, I was asking you about whether you are a pace handicapper, because when I looked at this race, I didn't see much pace. The horse that scratched the 5, Miss Mary Nell, I thought had some, I hate to use the term cheap speed, but I thought that horse had some speed. I don't see a ton of it. I think Sweet Rebecca, who's taken all the money, is one who seems to like to be forwardly placed, not necessarily on the lead, but might be fast enough to just kind of inherit the lead here. Ryan A, am I missing anything? Is Sweet Rebecca just going to be loose on the lead?
I don't think she might be. I mean, if you get a really, really aggressive ride, I could see it. There's, I was with you. With the scratch of the 5, Miss Mary Nell kind of took away some of that pace. I do think the 6, Silver Moonlight, should be a horse that's forward. Definitely took a step up first time in the barn for Safi Joseph, and he does have 2 in here. The other one, Hang the Moon, likes to come from off the pace, so naturally you kind of think that they're not going to work against each other, and they'd probably work with each other, where Silver Moonlight could, be more forward and has some of that if you go farther back in those past performances. Sweet Rebecca, I'm curious, how Tyler rides horse out of the gate, because I think if she wants to lead, she could be aggressive and go take it under Tyler Gaffleon. So I'm a little bit curious, but I also think Maggie Go. We've seen Pratt before in a race where you don't see a whole lot of pace on paper. Pratt will just take it to him early, and that's always a possibility. And that's what makes him so dangerous.
Yeah. Ryan P was hinting at, saying, Maggie Go going to get a nice ride down the rail from Pratt. Another horse that kind of jumped out at me, a little bit of a better price here, is the 9-15 to 1. Ashima has a wire-to-wire win over the turf at Gulfstream. He's hit the board in 6 or 7 turf tries at Gulfstream. I think could potentially make a move from the outside for the early lead. See, I don't know if she's good enough to hold on, but I think she could be there for a while. So from a pace perspective, those were some of the ones I was looking at. We've got a couple people in the green room right now, standing by. 2 of them actually, both of them are at Gulfstream Park. Let's bring in Kyle first. Kyle, do you hear us?
I do. Do you hear me fine?
We hear you. So you're at Gulfstream. Where exactly are you at Gulfstream?
So right now I'm in the simulcast room, which I do have paddock access. So that will be a good use to have later on. But I am in the simulcast room, or Silks as it's known around here. Lots of people, betting Laurel Park and Tampa Bay Downs around me. So it's always a good time out here.
Nice. So the vibes are good. Betting a little bit of everything. We want to focus on this race, though. The Sand Springs. What do you got here?
I was in love with Sweet Rebecca before the scratch, and now after the scratch, as I was joking with Ryan and the rest of the guys, this is what, jokingly, of course, but this is like what we like to call the irresponsible wager of the week. She's been in fantastic form. This is going to be second off the layoff for her. Brendan Walsh, Gaffleon, we all know how good that combo is, and I was worried we were going to get less, and the fact that she's 2 to 1 is twofold, right? I'm very happy with that type of price in a race where she might just be completely loose, but also it makes me think that maybe she's not as live as I thought, and it can go one of 2 ways. I was in love with Tam Tam that won the 10th race, and I got CIW'd in that race as well. So maybe I'll get that here, but 2 to 1 was my value line on this horse. So if she stays there, I'll be taking a big shot.
All right. Well, we've got consensus on that horse. We're all hoping maybe she drifts up a little bit, Sweet Rebecca. And look, we're just going to keep adding people to the room here. We're adding our next person. We're just going to keep adding. Down there at the bottom, that's Rajiv Mirage joining us from the Jocks room at Gulfstream Park. Rajiv, what's up?
Yeah, more specifically from the massage room, because that's the only way I could find some quiet in the Jocks room on a day like today. So pardon me for the green screen in the back. That's what the massage room wall looks like.
It looks awesome. You sound great, but you got to be a little pissed off. You were supposed to be riding the Florida Derby. You wake up this morning, you find out you're not riding the Florida Derby. What's that like?
It's the emotional roller coaster of being a jockey. It's tough to say, but I'm actually accustomed to it by now. 22 years of lots of highs and some remarkable lows. So I just take it as it comes, and it actually doesn't affect me as much these days. I just look at my whole journey as a jockey as a body of work, and I know that these things are a part of it. And it just motivates me and inspires me to kind of look for the next Florida Derby opportunity.
You were supposed to be riding Gregarious in the Florida Derby. So how does that work? I mean, does the trainer call you and say, hey, bad news? Did you find out? Do you look at the scratches in the morning? How do you even find out about that?
Yeah, well, the trainer was proactive this morning, and he texted me at about 6:30, just sharing the unfortunate news. Obviously, big disappointment from that camp. We all had dinner a couple nights ago, talked about the race, very optimistic and excited to see what we were able to do in this race. And I was actually excited to see that we had a good post and all that. And come to find out, day of the race, he scratched. So, it's popping the bubble a little bit. And in any event, I got scratched out of the Pegasus last year, scratched out of the Kentucky Derby before. So, I mean, it's just a part of the thing that comes with it, you know?
All right. Hard into all this stuff. I'm going to let some of my co-hosts here jump in with any questions for Rajiv. Anybody have questions? Nobody has questions?
Okay, I style my hair myself. I know that was one of the questions. I don't have a hairstylist. This is a DIY. Anything else?
I do.
Rajiv, no, there you go.
No, go ahead, Ron.
I was just going to say, Rajiv, take us through what it's like, just spending the winter down at Gulfstream Park. And I mean, how do you, obviously, I think you like it down in SoFlo. The weather is never one to, really go back at it. I'm out in Southern California. It's pretty much one and the same out there. But what is it like kind of going through the day to day and just that preparation it takes to be ready for all your mounts as a jockey?
Well, for the first part, the Florida situation for me, it's more about family. Why I'm here in Florida, it's actually an opportunity cost for me to be stayed here year round. I'm more notable in the past of my 20-odd years career. I was more recognized riding in New York for many years as my base. And in 2019, my wife got pregnant with our first child, and that decision when that happened was to move our family to Florida, where both of our families are. And that's our core. So the winter in Florida is just a part of the cycle of us being in Florida year round now, and just trying to stabilize our family. Being a jockey and trying to ride all the top circuits requires a lot of travel and a lot of dedication and a lot of separation from the family. And at this point of our lives, we are trying to prioritize, our kids being in a stable schooling system and stuff like that. So that's the first part. And to move on to the question about, preparing to ride, a big part of my preparation to ride the races is coming in a little early in the mornings after workouts, coming into the jockey's room, analyzing the racing form, trying to put together a strategy for each race and watching replays to make myself familiar with not only my horses, but my opponents to have a better expectation of what's going to happen in the race. So that's my preparation day in and day out.
Awesome. Thank you.
My question was going to be about the preparation from a jockey's perspective. When you're looking at handicapping a race, how much of it is you looking at the pace of a race and coming up with it, and how much of it is a team effort with the trainer and the owner, or is it just dependent on the horse and the relationship?
Yeah. So what I find more often than not is when you build a relationship with a trainer, been riding for them for many times and stuff, they start getting more confident in you and kind of turning the reins over. And a lot of times, even before that, you're aligned because pretty much we all read the same racing form. It's hardly where you coming and you're looking at a different thing than the trainer is. Very infrequently, like what you plan to do would be different than what the connections do. So most of the times we are aligned, and it's left up to the jockeys. We take, for me, I take responsibility when I go out there to make adjustments in the race, to call audibles when necessary. And the biggest transition for me in the way I perceive strategy, before I used to think of it very static as like a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C. And if plan A doesn't work, move to plan B. If plan B is not working, move to plan C. I don't think of it like that anymore. How I look at it is I have an expectation of what's going to happen in a race. And then as the race unfolds, I adjust if those expectations are not is not unfolding that way. So it makes me ride a bit more natural now. I don't feel as robotic and thinking that I have to stick to a specific plan. And I've seen that work and be very impactful in some races that I've won, that I have just kind of rode like no one was watching, just rode how the situation played out, and not really be too concerned about making a decision that turns out to be the wrong decision. We're not perfect. Sometimes you're going to make a decision in the moment and thinking that that's the right decision, and then it backfires and blows up in your face. But that's what makes it fun.
So it is, you can see on your screen right now, 0 minutes opposed to race 12. That's a Sand Spring Stakes. The big one that we've been talking about here, obviously, is the Curlin Florida Derby. Rajiv, we want to get your thoughts on the Florida Derby. Are you able to hang with us for a minute, watch this race, and then kind of give us some thoughts on what you think that Florida Derby might look like now that you're not in it and the field is kind of a little different? There were 3 scratches out of the race. You able to stick with us for a minute?
Yeah, now I can give an unbiased opinion.
Good. We like that. All right, Kyle, remind us, Kyle, you're there. You're at Gulfstream. And you did a little flex there talking about the other winner you had 2 races ago, even though the horse was bet down. So now you have a chance once more before the race happens to tell people who's going to win this race 12 at Sand Springs.
Well, one, you got to get it out when you can. You don't have to. You have to, especially with the guy above me, 2 above me, who only picks winners, and the guy above me who wins every contest. So I got to get my licks in when I can. But I really love Sweet Rebecca. If she stays at 2-1, actually, me and Charlie Freeman, who's a co-host on our podcast, we have a big bet together on Sweet Rebecca, and I'm going to try and play against Farbridge next race. So it all starts with the 3 here.
Okay, Ryan P., remind people who you're looking at.
Top pick is number 1, Maggie Go, but I'm going to be using Yes It Is and Candy Quest as well.
Okay. Ryan A.?
Top pick for me is Yes It Is, and I'm going to be using the 10 as well in Candy Quest, so 7-10.
All right, 7-10 there. We got 3 from Kyle, and I like the same horses. The only horse I'd throw in if you want to spice up your exotics a little bit would be the 9, Ashima. So we'll see. I think if Ashima gets to the front early, could stick around for a little piece late. We'll play this with audio for you to listen. If you guys don't hear the audio once it starts, let me know, but we'll play it with sound for you. We'll come back with Rajiv right after this race for some hot takes on the Curlin Florida Derby. So they're most of the way loaded. We'll see if we get this track audio to play. Here's hoping Pete Aiello hadn't said anything yet.
He is talking in my.
There we go. I hear him.
All right, good.
He is talking in my ear. So
I was going to offer my commentary, but thank goodness Peter saved the day.
Rajiv, feel free if you got something.
I say we mute and let Rajiv take it, I think.
No. You guys call my bluff. I'm a bad bluffer.
All right, looks like they're about all loaded now. 1 left coming in.
In the gate. They're off in the Sand Spring Stakes. Good start. From between horses, Sweet Rebecca well into stride with Silver Moonlight moving on the far outside. Candy Quest is on the move. These 3 are quickest. Away 4th, Queen's Command. Next at the rail, it's Maggie Go, and Ashima gets started out wide. They're a length in front of Hang the Moon on her outside. Yes, it is. She settles about 8 lengths off the lead, while 3rd last. Second last is Fantasy Performer, and Olivia Valentina is at the back of the 10-runner field as they head to the opening quarter. Silver Moonlight has the lead. Candy Quest is alongside in second. These 2 are 2 better than Sweet Rebecca, who races in tandem with Ashima. They're 3rd and 4th. Back at the rail, it's Maggie Go for company on her outside. That's Queen's Command. And it's a length and a half to the team of Yes It Is, who's outside of Hang the Moon. A gap of another 2.5 to Fantasy Performer, and a length to the trailer, Olivia Valentina. They went the half in 47 seconds flat as they make their way to the final half mile. Silver Moonlight, 3 parts of a length. Candy Quest second. Sweet Rebecca bides time third, bracketed in by Ashima. A length and a half back to the outside and trying to move up is Queen's Command with Maggie Go. Hang the Moon is stuck in traffic to launch her bid. Maggie Go just ahead of her. Trying to wind it up from the back is Fantasy Performer. Olivia Valentina has trailed throughout. To reach the top of the Silver Moonlight and Candy Quest continue on. Sweet Rebecca needs room now. Gaffleone tries to feed her some racetrack. She has a rail opening and kicks on through with 1/8 of a mile to go. Here's Sweet Rebecca with a dream run through inside to take the lead. Silver Moonlight is next. Also running home a ton is Hang the Moon from the back. Hang the Moon is rolled into second, but Sweet Rebecca gets the jump on her. Sweet Rebecca, Hang the Moon. Sweet Rebecca wins. Hang the Moon was second. Maggie Go third. Queen's Command fourth in 1:39 and 4.
All right, they got a little hairy there, but Sweet Rebecca did look loaded all the way around. So good call, Kyle. Dinner on you.
Yeah, 8-5 winner. Dinner's on me. No, I almost Howard Kravitz mushed myself. He loves to call it beforehand. I thought she was going to win by 4. She ended up winning by a long neck, but either way, it pays the same.
No doubt. All right, good calls all the way around. It looked like Maggie Go was in play for a minute there and just did not kick quite as well as obviously Hang the Moon did late.
They both had perfect trips. Maggie Go just wasn't as good.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. I'd call that some decent handicapping all the way around. I mean, we got the winner. We're moving on. Next race of the Pan American. It's a 1.5 miles on the turf. We'll get to that in just a little bit. For now, why don't we take this off the screen? We got a shot of all of us here at the same time. And Rajiv, you promised us an unbiased analysis of the Curlin Florida Derby. So can't wait to hear how you see it playing out.
Yeah, well, my unbiased take is that even though this is a small, compact field, this is potentially the best Derby prep assembled as far as quality goes. If I was personally to hand select top 5 Derby quality horses right now, I think at least 3 or 4 of the horses would be from this Florida Derby. I've raced against some of them down here, like Chief Wallaby and so forth, and seen them train in the mornings, and the field is just loaded with talent. With the scratches in the race right now, it's going to be a very tactical race. Everyone's going to have their eyes on each other. I feel like each horse has enough tactical speed to put themselves in at least a forward position. So it's going to be a true rider's race, and I think it's a great race for the fans to see, because it's going to be very competitive, and any of the horses can potentially win it. I wouldn't be surprised at any horse that wins this race of the 6.
Rajiv, before you scratched out of this race, I assume you were going to be planning at least to go to the front from the break, right?
Well, when there were 9. 2 other ones, Albus and Patrick Biancone's horse, they had a lot of speed as well, especially the one that scratched to go to the Arkansas Derby. So I had the perfect post on the outside to I didn't have to overcommit to being on the lead, even though my horse is really fast. He ran a half in 46 in his debut, going 2 turns on this track. That's like unseen, really. So we felt like that would have been suicidal in this race. We weren't going to do that. We were going to just come out and use the outside post to the advantage to kind of and just regulate that speed enough where he could, make the distance and have some good run left in the end, instead of, going really fast early and just burning out.
Okay. I got one more question for you, and I'm going to open it up to the rest of the group. I definitely want to hear, because I know they've got harder pressing questions than the one I'm about to ask, but it's a curious situation with the 8-horse, the Puma, who won the Tampa Bay Derby last out. He doesn't really need any points. He's in the Derby. If you're the jockey, take us into like what that situation's like, right? When you're in, you just want to get your horse into that Derby starting gate, but you're in a Derby prep race. You're in the Florida Derby. You obviously want to let the horse run too. What is some of the calculation that goes into kind of assessing that kind of race and how you approach it?
For me, and I've been in this situation before, where I was riding High Cal, who was undefeated going into the Wood Memorial, and he had won the Gotham, which pretty much shoot him into the Derby. And so in one of the things with him, with that horse specifically, was that in every one of his races, I was urging him from the onset. I never had a chance to get him to settle into a rhythm. And us and the connections, we felt that if we were going to go into the Derby going 1.25 miles, if we had to gun him every step of the way, he wouldn't be the optimal way to race. So we took even though the Wood Memorial is such an important race, we took the Wood Memorial we were wanted to win, but we took it as an opportunity to see if at least the first half of the race, if he would get into a rhythm and then finish up without having to ride him really hard. So we tried something new because we didn't have anything to lose. We were already in the Derby. So with this horse that Javier is riding, the Puma, if he feels like there's something that might be useful to try now and not experiment in the Derby, because you don't want to go into the Derby and experiment then, today would be the day to try it. Now, I don't know as much about what he thinks about the horse because he's the one been riding him. But say, for example, these are some things. Would he run in tight between horses? Would he be okay with the dirt hitting him in the face? Today is the day that you would try that, because if this isn't the ultimate goal, if this is not the race defining, is not a career defining moment of this horse, it would be the day that you would try something different.
That's interesting. That's super interesting.
It is.
So yeah.
Can I ask a question real quick? For there's been a lot made about the gallop out of Commandment in the Fountain of Youth and the way that Irad was managing that. What's your takeaway on that from a jockey's perspective on what he was trying to accomplish there and what that might mean for him going forward?
It's what I expect that he's trying to accomplish there is if you really study the horse and you look at the micro of what was happening while he was coming down to the lane, coming towards the wire, his ears went forward, which is a signal that the horse is focusing on something other than running, and he's starting to neutralize. So you don't want two things to happen. You don't want a horse to get into the habit of coming to the wire and start easing up. And you also, being that the Derby is at a longer distance than those other races, you want to see them sustain the run at least through the wire. So that him riding the horse through the wire could accomplish things like giving him more fitness for an extended distance, right? And also to teach him to continue his run going through the wire instead of getting idle when he makes the lead and coming to the wire.
Good stuff. All right, Kyle, you look like you're primed to ask something.
No, I was just going to comment on that because as a person that really likes Commandment, coming from a jockey's perspective, I've loved that gallop out one for that, mainly the distance angle, Irad trying to keep him, and almost looked like he turned on another gear. And obviously, there's no other horse, no other horse is running through the wire like that. Right. But still being able to, like you mentioned, his ears went forward at the wire, but able to kick him back and focus him back, and he kicks away again. It's a really good sign for me as someone who is going to bet him today and has a future bet on him in the Derby. So I'm getting to hear it from your perspective that ratifies that. It's a good feeling. So I appreciate it.
And what is the question that you expect the connections to ask after the Fountain of Youth? What everyone wants to know is, after that race, everyone's going to ask, do you think he can go 1.25 miles? Do you think he could go further? And by Irad riding him through the wire, he can almost answer that question, because he can say, well, yeah, after the race, he went an extra 1/8 mile and he wasn't tired. He was actually pulling away from the other horses. So, yeah, I can answer that. If you don't do that, how do you answer that? You would be answering that more on emotion and feelings than actual fact of something that happened. So him riding the horse through the wire, he can say, yeah, that happened. So I see it as this is the case.
And I kind of got that when I interviewed Javier Castellano after he won on the Puma in Tampa Bay. He was like, the horse was going good through the wire, and then, we eased him up afterwards. But going forward, he was going good. Think he can go a little bit longer. So, more of that emotion, that feeling thing when, Irad actually does it after the wire. So, yeah, no, it's a really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, all this stuff's fascinating to me because I think it really, getting inside the mind of a jockey and understanding some of these tactics and why things are happening in front of us is so important as we're trying to visually assess and handicap not only this race today, but also keeping these thoughts in mind, a month from now, when they're headed to the Derby. So
I like, and I think that we should do it more as an industry to educate or connect with the people that don't ride the horses, so that it bridges the gap between the understanding of what we're doing out there and what the perception is, because the perception and the reality can be a big disconnect when you see stuff, especially through social media and stuff. Why did you do this? Why did you do that? And I feel like I don't blame people for saying that, because they don't have the baseline knowledge of it. And on our side, we don't educate enough to say it doesn't have to be combative, and it doesn't have to be a right. It doesn't have to be a right or wrong answer, right? But it could be like, hey, this guy did this. Why did he ride this horse like this? And on our end, we could say, well, this is the reason why. And it's a lot of times, more often than not, if that was said, it would be more understood.
Yeah,
that's why I love hearing your explanation on that, because I'm a numbers nerd. I'm not I would probably fall off a camel ride at a zoo. So I can't, I can't understand, how you guys do what you do. But when you explain something and then what you guys do in the gallop out, or what you're doing to give a horse experience, when those things align or don't align with the numbers that I'm seeing when I'm trying to figure out which horse I like, that's where I can be like, okay, this is one I really like, because the people that know what they're talking about when they're riding the horse and dealing with the physical side, that lines up with what the numbers say. Okay, that's a good bet. On the flip side, if it doesn't line up, then I have to take another look back and say, okay, what's different here and why is it different? And I think that's what's fascinating to me about handicapping, is seeing how those things align and how to be able to learn from that.
Yeah, and it will never be solved, because the thing is, the horses don't talk. And man, when you're on a horse, you guys won't believe it. Like, these little micro things of how the horse reacts and their emotions, being an animal that's not seen on TV, not unless you feel it through the bridle, or you feel it through the motion of a horse, like literally easing up because something is spooking him, or he's seeing things that aren't there, or they're having a hard time getting the sufficient air that they need because they're congested in their lungs. Things like that has a big impact on the races and the performance, and it would alter their performance from the numbers, for example. And the people reading the numbers are going to be stunned, like, why? How does this horse run like this when he never did this before? Right?
Yeah.
But
well,
that's what makes it fun.
You mentioned, obviously, you've got a family that you've got to go home to. We're not trying to keep you here all day, but we're going to ask you for 1 minute to switch roles with us. You become the handicapper here. You said you've ridden against some of these horses. You've been in the races with Chief Wallaby, some of the others in here. Obviously, the big ones we're talking about are Commandment, Nearly, the Puma, maybe Chief Wallaby's in the mix too. What is your gut telling you who's going to win the Florida Derby?
Nearly's going to win, because he has the right tactical speed to track. How I see the race unfolding is the horse on the inside, he's going to go out on the lead. Nearly's going to be tracking him in second. Johnny V is going to have control of the race when he wants to make his move towards the leader, and he's probably going to get the jump on the closers, which is going to be Commandment, Puma, and Chief Wallaby.
Interesting. So, you made Ryan Anderson very happy. I don't know if you can see him right now, but he's smiling.
For now, I made him happy. Then he doubles down. He's like, damn, that damn Rajiv. He made me double down. And no, Ryan, I don't have an extra room in case you go busto. I can't accommodate you. Sorry, man.
That's all good.
It's up to you.
Awesome. All right.
Confidence for the Florida Derby. I love it.
Love it. Absolutely. Well, we're gonna kind of dig into the next couple of races. We got the Pan American, which is race 13, coming up, and then we've got the Florida Derby. So, Rajiv, thank you so much for taking a few minutes with us, and we've got our core handicapping group here back Let's see if we could put this back on the screen. There we go. We got a lot of time. 24 minutes. All right.
Oh yeah.
Who wants to take a first stab at this late double? Anybody?
Sure.
Well,
I mean, I got a horse that, I've been waiting all day to bet the Florida Derby. So obviously the fist pump on Nearly probably gave that one away. So I love that horse in there. That latest work, if you go watch via XBTV, I mean, he has grown up so much since the win in the Holy Bull, and he looks like an absolute monster. I don't know that he's the horse that I'm going to want in the Derby, but he's the horse I want in the Florida Derby for sure. This race going, what is it, a mile and a half? It's a different rail setting than the Orchid that was run with the rails down. This one's run on, I guess, technically the outer turf at 59 feet. It was tough to get away from Farbridge. I think 4 to 5 is really, that's a little too low. I'd almost look to go in a different direction there. Miguel Clement has, said about Bellezza, a horse that he brought back in the Orchid. She would probably benefit from getting one. Although we've seen Farbridge fire really well. He fired this in this race last year when he won. He just held off Corruption by about a neck. I'm going to try and get a little bit creative. I'm going to play Farbridge on top, but I'm going to use the number 10 underneath in second and third in Soloway. I think that this horse has been chasing a couple slow paces on turf, and if this horse can get into the exacta, get into the try, maybe even get into the super, I think that's really going to spice things up. Obviously, he's somewhere around the 58 to 1 range right now. So that's how I'll end up playing this race. And obviously, I got to play the double with Farbridge into my my horse of the day.
All right, Farbridge 6 to 5 right now. Ryan P., what do you think?
Yeah, Farbridge is the horse to beat in here. There's no doubt about that. If the good Farbridge shows up, the good Farbridge probably wins here. But coming off the layoff at that price, I'm going to try to get a little more creative here. Because he did win last year coming off the layoff, but numbers-wise, I think that was probably his slowest race last year. So he may need one here, and if he runs a B race, then I think Corruption could get to the lead and potentially wire him here. So I'm gonna use Corruption. And then I'm actually in agreement with other Ryan on the 10 Soloway. I think that, there's been no pace. And if he gets something to close into, he could clunk up for second or third. So I'm going to use him underneath. And then I am also using another bomb underneath, Junipero Serra. Is that the right way to say that? The 2 horse. I'm going to use both of them underneath of Corruption. And this is one of those spots, if I can get Farbridge out of the exotics, most likely he'll probably get in there, but if I can get him out of there, it could be a huge payoff. So nothing big, but just a little exacta key here, and try to get a big price underneath Corruption.
Ryan knows it. Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
I was just going to say, Marty Drexler's horses have been running out of their skin today, so I think absolutely you got to look at Junipero Serra and include him on some of your tickets.
I love that.
Vertically speaking,
50 to 1 shot. Love that. Kyle, you got any 51s for us, or are you going with the favorites?
I do not have any 50 to 1s for you. One, because both of them have been taken now, so all the smoke's gone from there. But I'm going against Farbridge, but I'm going in a different direction than both these guys. I like the Dash Man, and Farbridge, like Ryan said, came back in this race last year. This is the exact way that Christoph, rest his soul, came back after the Breeders' Cup last year and ran in the Pan American and just beat Corruption. Doing the same, coming back doing the same thing this year at 6. He's obviously supposed to win this race, but this is not the end goal for him by any means. Whether it's the Elkhorn next month at Keeneland for probably double this purse at least. You can go to, like they went last year. They went to the Man of War at Aqueduct again for way more than what they're running for right now. Corruption makes a lot of sense too and can wire them. Loves the distance, but Dashman, the last race was a complete prep for this race. This looks like for Brian Lynch, who, by the way, speaking of horses that have been running out of their skin, Brian Lynch almost 30% on this meet right now, and Joel Rosario is really the main key. And I'm not usually one for jockey gymnastics, but why is he not on Farbridge? And I know it's Pratt. Like when Pratt's available, you get Pratt, but Rosario has ridden Farbridge 9 times in a row, 10 times in a row, and ends up on the 6 instead. And while I don't take that into consideration a lot, I feel like it still weighs some merit in here. And Dashman's getting bet down. He's 7 to 2 right now just above Corruption as your third choice. If the pace gets a little bit heated up in here, he's going to be ahead or right with Farbridge. And if that's the case, he's worked 57-4, 46-3, and 58-3. I'm going to give the Dashman a shot at 7-2.
I love that play, actually. And I want the Ryans to weigh in on the on Rosario there. I mean, we're all speculating a little bit. I could text Miguel. He's probably not going to respond to me right now. But because I do wonder why he lands there. I mean, but I mean, as far as Dashman goes, career best, came over this turf course, same mile and a half distance. What was that, 3 races back in the McKnight? I mean, I think, you know, how these races go, right? You can't really, sometimes we're like, oh yeah, we're going to assess the pace in a mile and a half race. It's not going to be, but I mean, I don't think you can be too far back in this race, right? I mean, I don't see a horse closing from the clouds. I think you got to be somewhat forward. I think Dashman's going to be up close, going to be within a couple of lengths of the lead. And I think has every shot to run him down. I think second off the layoff for Lynch, as you mentioned, Kyle. I like Dashman a lot too. Look, Farbridge is Farbridge, right? But maybe this is where we take a shot against Farbridge, maybe off the 6-month break, not firing his best. So, but what do you think, Ryan, A or P, about are we reading too much into the Rosario thing?
I think it's interesting. It gives maybe the overall vibe that maybe Joel Rosario committed to Dashman before he knew Farbridge was going to show up in here. Again, it's not like you're getting a B string rider. You're getting the two-time Eclipse Award. It's very possible that the connections wanted to make a little bit of a switch. You know, nothing against Joel Rosario, but I think Pratt's ridden this turf course maybe a little bit better in recent memory. So Farbridge, yeah, the jockey karaoke, the jockey musical chairs is always, you know, an interesting game to play. And in this case, yeah, I really don't know why. I think Dashman is good, but I don't know that he's that close in skill to Farbridge to, you know, in a 7-5, 7-2 gap. I think if Dashman was around 9-2, I think I'd probably take a little bit of a stab. But at 7-5 or 7-2, I think I still got to stay with Farbridge.
Yeah.
And real quick, sorry, Ryan. This will actually go ahead, talk, and then I'll bring up what I wanted to say because it's something completely different. So
yeah,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say with the jockey karaoke switching situation, that's one of those things that I kind of try to just know what I don't know. Like there's so many things that go on behind the scenes that, you know, we don't hear about, whether it's, you know, somebody was supposed to commit to something or had a conversation and then committed and didn't think a horse was going somewhere, but then ended up going somewhere. Who knows? I try not to worry about too much about it, but my thing is I'm not betting Farbridge today because I just think today is the day to kind of beat him. But Flavian Pratt getting on there doesn't scare me off of him at all. You're putting the best turf rider in America on him. That's not worrying me in any way on him.
It's literally the exact same thing I mentioned with Pratt in the Florida Derby. Yeah, literally the exact same thing.
If you like Farbridge, don't let the fact that Rosario left and you're getting Flavian Pratt.
I fully agree.
That's all I would say.
That's a good way to sum up that viewpoint. Absolutely. Go ahead, Kyle.
So real quick, and then I'll run to the paddock and I'll get Buzz video from there in a sec. But I just got a notification a minute ago that Paladin has suffered an ankle injury and is off the Triple Crown Trail.
No.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God.
So, and it's, you know, 1 minute ago from what I was looking at, which obviously is a big thing, not only not necessarily in the race we're talking about today, but in the Triple Crown as a whole, who is probably your third favorite, if not favorite for most of the entire anti-post betting. So
wow.
We might need to do a wellness check on Howard Kravitz real quick.
Yep. Yes. I second this opinion.
Has that been his horse all along?
He's had a future on him since like what?
November, December.
Since before the Remsen.
Yeah.
Jeez. Damn. No, that's unfortunate. It really is. Oy. All right. Well, yeah, that definitely, you know, changes the picture in a lot of ways. You know, I don't know if there is a standout. I was looking this morning, you know, watching the UAE Derby. I thought one of the Pyromancer. I was like, oh, this horse looks interesting. And I mean, he didn't do much. The horse that won, I don't know too much about that horse either, but there is some hype around him. So we can do a quick, once we're done here, we can do a little post-mortem on the Derby picture once we're done with the Curlin Florida Derby. So we'll do that. So Kyle, you said you're gonna head to the paddock now. Is that what you're gonna do? You're gonna head to the paddock and get
I'm gonna head there right now. I think the horses will probably be coming about in 5 minutes or so. So I'll hop on there and get you guys some good video.
Sweet. All right, that sounds good. While Kyle's away, we're gonna have another guest that hops on in a few minutes, which is also gonna make Ryan Anderson pretty happy because he's part of the ownership team behind Nearly. So I guess all the doubles we're playing cold doubles here. Is that what we're doing? We're got cold doubles to Nearly.
Absolutely. Everything's going through Nearly. If Nearly loses, and so be it. Not my day, but I think that horse is gonna run away and hide versus this group today. Maybe not run away and hide. That's saying a lot against Commandment and Chief Wallaby, who are very, very good horses. You even throw the Puma in there, but I think he's going to win. I mean, the scratches have helped him immensely on a pace perspective. We've seen pace or speed, as it typically does, play pretty well today at Gulfstream. So yeah, I mean, I think Nearly it's his race to lose right now. I just hope he's still that third choice on the betting line.
Well, I'm going to spoil your party a little bit here, Ryan. Based on the double probables, he's going to be favored. You're not
I'm looking at it right now too.
What are you seeing? What is it? Is it dramatic? Is he like dramatically?
It looks to me, and this surprises me a bit. It depends. So with the 7 here, he is a narrow favorite over Chief Wallaby and Commandment. With the others, he's a little bit more of a favorite. So I would expect, based on the doubles, and this is all just speculation, but I would expect Nearly to be a very, very narrow favorite, with Chief Wallaby being right behind him, and then a little bit of a drop off to Commandment, just based on potential double probables. But again, it's a separate pool. Who knows? It could be totally different, but that's just my rough read on it, looking at it now.
Interesting. Yeah, we're gonna have some time to talk about obviously that the full field there for the Florida Derby with the 3 scratches. We're down to 6 horses, so we can take some time with each of the horses. Chief Wallaby is interesting to me. I mean, I think that's the one that scares me if you're on Team Nearly, right? I mean, at least to me, with the 2 races and not missing Commandment by much, and every reason to believe that Chief Wallaby's best days are still ahead and will like more distance. I think Chief Wallaby to me looks pretty dang scary, but Ryan Anderson ain't scared.
I'm not scared. I mean, yeah, I 100% agree. Chief Wallaby is the main threat right now to Nearly, and anytime you see Bill Mott, who it was pretty public in an interview that he gave that Chief Wallaby was targeting an allowance race the day after the Fountain of Youth. That race didn't fill. That race was at 7 furlongs. So plan B was to go into the Fountain of Youth, to which he almost won the race, and he took a huge step up. I think that kind of anytime a trainer like Bill Mott, who takes his time with his horses, anytime he feels that a horse is maybe ready and that horse proves him right and takes that next step, I mean, he's very dangerous. It would not surprise me if Chief Wallaby won this race, if Commandment won this race. It would surprise me a tiny bit if the Puma won, but not by much. But I think Nearly is going to have a bit of a pace advantage. Chief Wallaby does need the points, though. I think he only has 25, and it normally takes about 40 or so to get into the gate. So I know he's going to be, firing to win as they all are, as we, talk to Rajiv. But it's going to be interesting for sure. I think we might be in for a really nice horse race here with those top 4 contenders.
All right, and just like that, our next guest is standing by from the ownership team behind Nearly Centennial Farms. It's going to be. Oh, let me remove this. We're covering his face right now. Look at this. That's not nice. Our boy Donald Little. What's going on, man? You're looking sharp, brother.
Thank you, Dan. Appreciate it. Having a little trouble hearing you, but that's also because the Carousel Club's bumping next to me. So,
are you getting that echo from yesterday, or are you hearing us okay?
No, I'm good. I don't have any echo. It's just I just don't have a ton of hearing, but no echo, so that's good.
All right, we'll try to keep the questions direct, and we'll shout into the computer so you can hear us. I remember seeing you at the Carousel Club on Pegasus World Cup Day. You were like, bro, Nearly is legit. You keep an eye on this horse. This horse is legit. And then, of course, he went on to do what he did a few weeks later. And then here we are today. You haven't lied. I mean, everything you've said is come true. Are you feeling that everything is, the universe is aligned. Everything is good. We're ready to take that next step today.
Yeah, I mean, he's been doing great. I mean, everything we could really ask for. He's been training phenomenally. It's actually kind of funny. I sort of was just echoing my dad's message when, before nearly it even started, about this time last year, towards the end of the race meet, we all had gone up to our farm in Virginia. And this group of horses that he had put together, he really doesn't say much about them. He's usually pretty quiet. He was like, this group is something special. And he was spot on. I mean, he's done everything we could have asked for 2 races ago, and he broke out of the gate. He got slammed and came back like it was no big deal. I mean, he's pretty special. I mean, I hope for a nice, safe trip, but it's just been such an exciting ride thus far, and hopefully we can continue it on.
All right, Ryan, I see you're ready to jump in. I don't know if you want to tell Don how much money you bet on this race, but
Yeah, Don, first, nice to meet you. Big fan of Nearly in this spot. Yeah, look, all of my tickets, I'm alive in the pick 5, the pick 4. It's all going through Nearly, the coast to coast, the Sunset 6. All of it's going right through that horse. It was really off that last work that he had, working with the horse's name is gonna escape me, but it really seemed that since the Holy Bull, he's really done a lot of growing up. That exercise rider the other day just had his feet basically in the dashboard trying to prevent this horse from doing more and more. Has that been typical of him, or is he just really kind of coming to his own the past couple months?
I don't know. I wouldn't say it's really typical of him. I mean, he's been pretty easy to deal with, all things considered. I mean, that's more of a Todd question than me, but he's been doing great. He's really been just kind of a polite individual, all things considered. I mean, after last race, Johnny even said he was surprised how much he really went at the other horse. But, I mean, he's been just so classy, and everything that he's done has been such a wonderful experience for us and the partners to be able to watch. And, yeah, I mean, he's doing great. His works are good. He's really doing everything you could possibly ask for. I mean, we really just kind of got to sit back and enjoy it now.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. It certainly seems like he's done a lot of growing up. Maybe that was more of a Todd Pletcher question as it relates to, the horse working out, but I know you're excited along with the whole partnership. I'm excited to watch him run in race number 14 today in the Florida Derby, because I really think he's kind of ready to turn the corner even more than he already has. Obviously, his last 3 wins have been wildly impressive, and now he's stepping up against an even tougher group, but he looks ready. And you guys have a guy in Johnny Velasquez aboard who that can never be a downside.
Yeah, I mean, the combo between Todd and Johnny, I mean, it can't really ask for much better than that. I mean, it's what brought us the Gold Cup win with Antiquarian, and really just hoping that we can keep that rolling and hope for another win right now.
I have a question from an owner perspective. At what point would Nearly was the whoa, we've got something moment? Was it that maiden win, or was there a time before that you guys really realized that you had something that could be really exciting this year?
I mean, to be honest, we all kind of had an idea there was something there before its first start. I mean, we were all kind of just like, what happened with that first race? I mean, even Todd was scratching his head with it. Dad was scratching his head with it. We kind of all were. We didn't really know why he didn't perform. And then his second start, and when he aired that one out, we were like, all right, now we know what we got. And I mean, he's been Mr. Professional. I mean, his wins have been great. He's made it nice and easy for the last couple go-rounds, so really no complaints.
Well, good luck today. He's definitely one to be excited about.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been awesome for the partners, and kudos to my dad, Dr. Carr, Paula Parsons, the whole team, Todd. It's really it's a whole family that gets to put this all together, and we're just super lucky to be a part of it.
Now, Donald, I've known your dad, Don, for quite a while now. Obviously, Centennial Farms, like, long history of, big races, a lot of prestige. And if you're a fan of, the New England sports scene, it's kind of integrated with all that. I'm sure you'd have all Boston behind you, obviously, if you guys make it to the Derby. What does this mean for you specifically, right? I mean, this is you kind of stepping into a role, getting more involved, and kind of, taking a little bit of that mantle from your dad. I know he's still very active, very involved, but what does this mean for you to kind of go through this journey with your dad and kind of thinking ahead of, what it could be like Derby Day, you guys together and you taking the next steps in your career?
Yeah, I mean, it's such an awesome experience. I mean, I've grown up with it, and this is my normal, is what I like to call it. So it's a little different now, having a little bit of a role in this. But in all honesty, it's such a wonderful experience. We're so fortunate. It's such a cool thing where these horses can take you. I mean, it's some of the best life experiences and memories that you can possibly have. So for me, just being able to do it with my family, having everybody around us, I mean, even our partners, they're basically family to me. At one point, I really see all of them attending my future wedding at some point. I mean, it's such a remarkable group of people, horses, and I really can't ask for much more. It really is a very fulfilling experience and fills my heart.
Awesome. We got people in the chat who are also behind nearly. We also have our guy Kyle, who we're just going to put him up on the screen here. He's in the paddock right now. He's got people walking out, but for the work you put in, here we go. There you are, Kyle.
Look at those sunglasses.
We came in late. Can you hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
We got you. You sound good. Yeah, man. Do you see anything you like down there?
I'll tell you what. Soloway looks great, Ryan. She's a very small filly, as a lot of these for Euros are, but she looks really good. Unfortunately, everyone just literally walked out as soon as you got me on, Dan, but lots of good. Farbridge looks great. Like, there's nothing against him at all in the paddock. There's all the fanfare as usual around a horse like that, so he probably looks to run big, although I'm still going to try and beat him.
Nice. Donald, are you on a day like today? Is your stomach in knots? Are you making any bets?
Yeah, I haven't even looked at the program, to be completely honest. I've been running around like crazy. We've got about 60 people here, so pretty much every single one of the partners brought either 4 or 6 people, and so I'm actually doing multiple jobs right now, running around, and I mean it's a great experience. But I'd like to say my nerves are a little cool, but it's been a little nerve-wracking like the last week. You can't help but think about it.
No doubt. All right, well, we're gonna let you get back to all your partners and everybody who's there, family and friends. Tell your dad we send our best, and as you know, I think this live stream. I think where we all stand here. So go get it done.
Awesome, appreciate it, guys. Yeah, we'll talk soon.
All right.
All right,
Donald Little joining us from Team Centennial here with nearly coming up in the Curlin Florida Derby. All right, thank you, brother. Good luck.
Cool. Thanks, Dan. See you later.
So good stuff here. I mean, look, and yeah, Kyle, we're sorry. We were like, the timing was unfortunate. We saw you there getting the shot. You did all the work. We're like, we got to get in, and then we ended up getting the back of some poor ladies, walking out of the paddock.
No, it's no worries. Like I said, it's a paddock. You guys have the feed up too, so everyone sees. But like I said, next one's the big one. So
next one's the
that'll
big
be
one.
more important.
Where are you right now? Are you like in the winner's circle? Where are you at?
So I'm just outside. So for those that don't know Gulfstream, it's actually a very small track. I can turn around the camera here. So finish line obviously being right there. Winner's circle is straight ahead of me. But it's packed in here today, as you can see. I've never seen, and usually it would be for Florida Derby. Probably the only thing that beats it is Pegasus, but it's slammed in here today. So it's good to see that all the Floridians and everyone else showing out for this.
No doubt. I mean, this race, like the Florida Derby, I've got memories of the Florida Derby going way back. I remember watching as a kid. We mentioned earlier, I forget who mentioned Johnny V and Pletcher in this race. Johnny V and Todd have won this race 6 times together. I think, or was it 4 times? 6 times. Well, Johnny V's won it 6 times. 4 times they've won it together. The 4 times, most recently with Fierceness, but they also won with Always Dreaming, who obviously went on to win the Derby, and then Audible, who I think finished 2nd, maybe 3rd in the Derby. Anyway, obviously 3rd, yeah. Mm-hmm. So good. I mean, as good as you want for connections. The horse, I think we've sung his praises, and we can do more in terms of looking at some of the other runners in the Florida Derby in a couple of minutes. But going back to this Pan American here, which is the race you see on the screen, race 13, 0 minutes to post. I think we've got a couple of opinions in here. I'm on Dashman, as is Kyle. Farbridge is the obvious favorite in here, the 7, but we're looking to maybe take a swing against him, thinking, hey, maybe off a 6-month break, today's the day to catch him. Ryan P, I know you mentioned Corruption. You like 3-1 on Corruption? You'll take it, right?
I was hoping for a little better at 5-2. It's not a win bet. I'm just going to use him a little bit in those exactas with those 2 bombs that I think are potentially going to get involved. So I'm going to use a couple different ones and try to just get those bombs involved in an exacta or a try and see if we can get lucky. Nothing big here though. I got my big opinion is in the Florida Derby as well. And let's just put it this way. One of the Ryans will be happy and the other Ryan will not be happy after the Florida Derby, regardless what happens.
I have noticed you've been kind of quiet as we're doing this whole nearly love fest. He's been a little quiet. So I knew he was holding something back. Remind people the long shots that you liked in this race.
Yeah. I struggle with names. I apologize.
Stowaway is the 10.
The 10 Soloway and then the 2 Junipero Sarah are the 2 I'm going to use in a little bit of a clever play.
Awesome. Ryan A, remind us how you play in this one.
I played the Sunset 6 where I singled Farbridge. So obviously I played a small double with my second choices being down on the rail. Corruption is always a very, I would say, consistent horse, and Johnny V has just given spectacular ride after spectacular ride today. So that is my little bit of a backup double. Is I'm playing just a 1-6 double into nearly, of course, in the last race, but nothing, no major plays coming here. I played a small try keying the 10 Soloway in third, and then another again 7-10 small exacta, just keying that one in second, just seeing if I can't get a little extra money to throw right onto nearly in the next race.
I'm going to do a tri-key box with Dashman as my key, the 6 horse. The question is, do I include Brother Kenny? What do we make of Brother Kenny? We haven't even talked about that horse. The 5 horse ran the Pegasus World Cup. Anybody got an opinion on Brother Kenny? Stay away?
I wouldn't stay away. I mean, he's a bettable price at 22-1. And I mean, why not? Crazier things have happened. He's getting onto the turf. He might be in the right kind of form to be successful here. So I would throw him in, surely.
He had noteworthy. I mean, I don't think he was ever going to win that race or was ever even competitive in that race, but he did have a noteworthy bad start in there that I think lost any chance that he would have had it running up for third or fourth. And his race 2 back might be good enough to win this. It's definitely, I've seen a lot worse picks than that one at 23-1.
All right. You twisted my arm. I threw him in. All right. He's in. Kyle, final thoughts here. We know you like Dashman. You're getting 4-1 right now. That ain't bad at all.
No, and something I'll gladly take. I'm going to play. I actually have a double into this race from Sweet Rebecca because I liked her so much. Into Dashman, I believe that nets me just under 200. So that'll be really nice if that comes through. But play a small double into my top pick, which, again, outside the nearly love fest, and we'll see who Ryan goes with. But I still like Commandment in the Florida Derby, even though he is up against it a little bit from the pace. Small field, hopefully they stay compact.
Well, Ryan, you still got those double bull pays in front of you going into the Florida Derby?
I can pull. Give me 1 sec. I'll pull them up.
I'm curious what a Dashman / Commandment / nearly doubles paying.
Pretty sure the Commandment one's playing well.
Dashman is $20 into Commandment.
Wow.
And then $10 into nearly.
Damn, $20 ain't bad. If you like Commandment, get in on that.
Yeah. Commandment is cold.
Yeah,
really
Commandment is very cold on the board in the doubles.
Really? Damn.
Third choice in basically every combo for those doubles.
Which honestly, I kind of figured as, a Commandment lover, with the pace setup that nearly has now and all the hype behind Chief Wallaby, I honestly figured he was going to go off his third choice. But clear third choice, I'm not too sure that I saw that, but third choice I did. I could have seen.
If they go too crazy and Commandment is 4-1, that's worth a bet.
Agreed.
I'll see you there.
All right, we got a couple of comments here in the chat. We got Brian saying Commandment wins by 3. We got Chris in, my guy, betting and boozing, my weekly handicap, and probably always love hanging with the crew. Chris says Johnny V is going to be tough in these next 2. Johnny V's got Corruption and then nearly. A little bit of an outside opinion here. The 8 Echo Lane here at 8-1. That'd be a nice price if Leonardo could hit that one. I don't know if this is a 1-3 exacta. Right? There's no 13 horse. I think this is 1-3. And then Echo Lane again here from Leonardo. So some Echo Lane love. The horse is about all in. We will let you hear the race. We'll come back. We'll react to it in just a couple minutes. Nicely done on the sneeze there, Ryan. I saw that. That was impressive.
There we go. Nailed it. Pump fake the first time, though.
Dancing in denial brought forward. Soloway Marcos Meneses to take the outside.
Ooh.
Nothing like being a jockey and having to climb over horses in a confined space in order to get out of there. That is not something I would wish upon anybody.
I would not do any of that. I would not do any of that. How about Kyle, by the way? Just down in the center of the action. I love those.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
Hit the camera flip right on the finish line for us, too. I mean,
I know. Somehow I weaseled my way into here, but, you know, I moved from outside the winner's circle to inside the winner's circle, so.
You walk anywhere with confidence, and they won't bat an eye. They'll let you go anyway.
They call that the Matt Miller strategy, I think, Ryan, is what they call that.
Yes, they do. Looks like they're backing everybody out.
Oh, no. Are we going to have a scratch here? What's
Yeah,
going on?
might have a scratch for
They've just been informed, acting on vet advice, and by the order of the stewards,
The
scratch
nine
number
dancing in
9,
denial.
dancing in denial.
Oh.
Number 9, dancing in denial, is a late scratch from this, the 13th race.
That's
If
unfortunate.
the 9 was your choice in the daily double, you'll get paid on a consolation. If you had the 9 as part of a pick 3, you'll get paid on a consolation. If the 9 was your choice in the pick 4, pick 5,
Just more
pick 6
Gulfstream
wager,
Park post-drag.
your tickets
Nothing
will be
new.
replaced by the
Nothing
starting
new.
favorite, number 7, Far Bridge.
Something
All
to
other
take a note of.
wagers-
Whenever you have these late scratches, you can get a better idea of where the
Exchangeable
doubles are
window.
actually going to land on these probables. And Chief Wallaby and Nearly are almost identical on the last click on most.
Wow. All right.
Maybe a
That's,
couple of 8 to 5 shots or something in there.
With Commandment being a fair amount behind, probably 40% higher. So,
Just out of curiosity, how far back is the Puma from those three? In those
what
probables?
remind me what number
The
Puma
8.
is?
8.
The 8.
Far back.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, like we're talking with Farbridge here, we're talking $7 versus 36 to the Puma.
Wow.
Wow.
I mean,
He could be double-digit odds based on that.
if he's double digit, you should take a swing. That last race was very impressive. I mean, look, I think Nearly wins for sure, but the game is all about value. If Nearly's going to be 7 to 5 in there, I already have all my tickets going through. I'm going to bet more to win for sure. But I think at double digits, if you're looking for value, I think double digits for the Puma is it, and then I think anything north of 7 to 2 on Commandment, also right there with fair value.
Yeah. I personally don't love the Puma. A couple guys I know that make their own figures that came back pretty fast on that Tampa Bay Derby compared to some of the public numbers. So it'll be interesting to see how he runs compared to 3 horses that have run basically triple-digit buyers already.
So kind of curious, because I know, Ryan, you make your own figures too, right? Kind of.
Not a lot. I've messed around with a little bit, but not in depth.
So from what you have then, if you are able to answer, the track on Tampa Bay Derby Day was pretty impacted by rain the last 3 or 4 races. How does that kind of go into your adjustments? That's kind of why I don't trust the buyer. I'm more just trusting what my eyes see in those replays, because, you watch those last 4 races, they all played a little different. The times were very different, and the pace unfolded in a different way. So from your, experience making figures, or certainly watching races and replays, what would your kind of adjustment be seeing weather change a track like that?
Yeah, it's very difficult, and I think this is where there's a lot of difference in numbers to quantify how much a track changes, because you're constantly comparing races that are similar distances. So if a track changes significantly, it's a lot of judgment there, and it definitely slowed down. So it's completely up to different people's interpretation of how much it slowed down to really come up with that number. I'm not sure on that one.
Well, not only that, Ryan, no one passed a single soul on that dirt course all day.
Yep.
And that last dirt race was really the first one that rain impacted, and he flew from the back. So you got to take that into account as well.
And that form held up with the maiden race to end the day as well. The race right after going 2 times. Oh, they're off.
Farbridge was away well from his outside draw. Further out, Echo Lane is on the move. Farther out, it's Soloway in the run to the far turn for the first time. Moving out the rail, Corruption won't be far away. In fact, Corruption's going to lead the field with inside position. The Dashman now moves to take second from Echo Lane and third. Farbridge guided over to the rail by Flavian Pratt. He's in a great spot already. Long shot Soloway is on the far outside. Lingering toward the back, Junipero Serra with Il Siciliano and Brother Kenny. They move now into the stretch for the first time. And at 2-1, Corruption and John Velasquez have the lead through an opening quarter of 23-2. Farbridge a bit keen. He's down at the inside with Dashman for company on his outside. Echo Lane is fourth in the two-path, out fifth, and Soloway, he's three wide. Junipero Serra is out the rail, in between horses Il Siciliano and Brother Kenny's at the back. 1 mile yet to go. They went the opening half mile in 47-4. These aren't slow fractions, but Corruption is doing it pretty well on the front end. He leads by an neck. Dashman is second. He's going to float out Soloway. Echo Lane is behind him. Farbridge hasn't spent a penny. He's down at the inside in a joint third, getting a great run of it. He'll need room eventually. Out wide, it's Brother Kenny, Sarah, and Il Siciliano at the back. 3/4 complete, 1:12-2, less than 6 furlongs from the finish in the 65th running of the Pan American. Corruption in a bid to go all the way on the front with Dashman second. Long shot Soloway's now moved to 3 wide third. Pratt still patient with the big favorite Farbridge. He's down at the inside. Echo Lane is between horses. Il Siciliano gets started on the far outside. That's going to force Brother Kenny to move or lose his spot. And the trainers Junipero Serra, they stack, they pack, and they swing to the far turn. 1:36-4 for the mile. Corruption is now asked to quicken. Dashman moves up alongside in second. Pratt still pondering a course of action for Farbridge. He still needs room, but he's going to have an option in a minute as Echo Lane's trying to quicken, but not doing so. They reach the top of the stretch. Here's racetrack for Farbridge. He's still under a Flavian Pratt grip, and he's guided 3 wide behind the embattled duo of Corruption and Dashman. They're an eighth of a mile from home. Farbridge asked to go to work and go get Corruption. Corruption digs. Here comes Farbridge, and the classy individual is on now on the outside. It's Farbridge getting up. Farbridge wins the Pan Am. A thing of beauty trip from Flavian Pratt, and Farbridge gives him the best kick. He wins, completing another win on the Hallandale sod from Corruption, who fought hard second in 2:23-2.
All right, never mind that whole Flavian Pratt, Joel Rosario thing.
Turns out that Pratt guy can ride a little bit.
Yeah, it turns out. That race was over going into the first turn.
Dang.
I mean,
yeah, that was crazy.
I'm not even sure that was his A race either. That he just might have beat them with a B race there.
That was just beautiful.
Yeah,
that was a thing of beauty to watch.
And Kyle, we both got a little egg on our face with Dashman. Had no excuse there. Great setup. Looked like he was prime. Just had nothing.
No, I mean, obviously he's just not enough. He's not good enough.
Yeah.
And I actually like the ride. Just try and stay up, try and get a jump on Farbridge. And if he's not ready, which I agree with both Ryans, that was a B+ effort probably from Farbridge and wins that race. And now he's primed to go wherever he goes next. But I actually like the ride, just not good enough. It was a good try and beat a favorite and move on.
No doubt.
Absolutely.
We were all half right there. We all thought he'd run a B+ race. He did, but we were all wrong. The B+ race was good enough to win.
And I said that on Wednesday. Oh, sorry. I said that on Wednesday that it was like he might only run his B+ race, but it still might be good enough. And you're right. It obviously was.
Yeah.
And as much as we talked about Farbridge, we forgot to mention he is now 5 for 5 over the Gulfstream sod.
Yep.
So he loves it here. But him and Corruption, they keep running right against each other, and they run each other down. And I mean, you can see the odds discrepancy there at 6-5 against 2-1. Echo Lane's really coming to his own as well. He ran huge at a big number last out. Obviously, I think today you had to play against Ryan. You and I love to find value, and Kyle, you as well. Dan, you too. But Ryan, I hear you talk about it all the time when we're on In the Money doing inner circle stuff. Echo Lane had to be a play against here, knowing that last time was kind of the wedding.
Yeah, he ran a good third, but you have to find the right spot. And I for me, actually, I'm not happy with myself because Corruption at 2-1 was not a good bet. That was too cheap for him. He almost won, but I would have needed probably to want to really like him. I was thinking 7-2, 4-1.
I was thinking that horse would be around the same as well.
That's what I thought, but I was wrong.
I mean, if he, am I wrong in saying if he was able to slow it down just a little bit more, he might have won? Or do we think Farbridge, had him pegged and would have run him down either way?
I think with Farbridge, with that trip sitting right behind, it didn't matter. He was going to run him down. If he would have been a little farther out of it, then maybe. But Farbridge was just way too classy.
Yep. We got a couple.
I'd love to make that excuse, but
yeah, right. It'd be nice. Right? I'm trying for it.
Throw me a bone.
We got a couple people in the chat who are really on Echo Lane. I don't know if they're able to kind of connect in some way there, but they Echo Lane was a big chat pick. People in the chat loved Echo Lane, and I think ran a nice race. Flavian Pratt, Farbridge, though, like we said, far too much. We'll see if there's money to be made in this last race. I mean, I think we're between a couple of favorites. Ryan P has teased a bit of a different play, so excited to hear what that looks like.
Something tells me we're not going to see Joel Rosario aboard Farbridge again for the foreseeable future. I think Pratt's going to have that mount for a while.
Yeah, that's a permanent rider switch. Yeah. And Kyle, what are you seeing? Where are you right now? Are you just kind of like?
I'm right in the winner's circle on the rail, so I'm in pretty much prime
beautiful
position. That's Miguel Camon right there, and Farbridge is making his way back and is going to stop probably right there. So this will be hopefully good.
Kyle, I say this knowing that we're not paying you anything, but we're not paying you nearly enough for this coverage.
Dan, I try my hardest for you. You don't need anything, man. I'd be here anyway. So to be able to share it with you guys and the viewers is great. That's funny right there.
Well, we owe you something for this, and if not only for this, you broke some news earlier on the show, which by the way, I got another update on that. I guess the DRF post went up. Let me see if I could find it because they had a couple of things there. With Paladin off the Triple Crown Trail, also Canaletto, who I don't know if I was under the impression that he was already off the trail, but I think that's official now. Canaletto now officially off the Derby Trail.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Obviously, we tend to err on the positive side on these shows, but for Chad Brown, unfortunately, has gone from having an arsenal of strong 3-year-olds to now you really got to hope Iron Honor really takes a big step forward next week in the Wood, because obviously Paladin was kind of that top contender leading in, and Canaletto was promising maybe for some of the second, third leg of those Triple Crown races. So now it's kind of all on Iron Honor's shoulders. You have a Tino, I think, is also going to be.
He's got Emerging Market too.
I knew I was forgetting one.
Yep.
Emerging Market, who just beat Pavlovian last week, and that's probably why I chose not to remember it, because I was trying to force that out of my brain.
Yeah, that was a tough beat, man. Jeez, that was a real brutal. Tough beat.
I was ready to do the Dougie in the winner's circle, but oh well.
Damn. No, I mean, but it's still Chad. Yeah, no, Chad was definitely holding a very strong hand. He's still holding a decent hand, just not what it was. I mean, how about Kyle down there? Jeez.
Right? Look at this. I thought we were on the live stream. This guy's just
no, dude. This is Kyle's camera.
No, I know. This is incredible.
Are these is this the meta glasses or it's something else? Is he
just rocking the phone?
Jesus, Kyle.
I mean,
you may as well. You want to get up on the horse? I mean,
right
there.
I'd be just as good as Brad, right? Surely.
This is phenomenal.
Good
all the
stuff.
connections, and there's a ton of them in here. I mean, LSU stables, so
go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Yeah, Miguel's right front center. Acacia's right there.
Look at that. Kyle Roscoe.
Probably should have known when Miguel Camont was being interviewed for the Orchid in one of his main state contending races, and he said she probably needs one. He wasn't wearing a suit for nothing.
Yeah.
The old suit angle. Good stuff.
What camera work by Kyle?
Great camera work.
Okay, well, I'm gonna get freaking kicked in the head by him here in a second. So.
Don't do that. Don't do. We need you. We need you, brother.
He's back straight up.
So where are you headed from here? You headed back to the paddock now?
Well, 30 minutes was to the Pan American. I could only imagine what they're gonna do for the Florida Derby.
I mean, this
21 minutes.
Yeah, I hope it's because they got to make that national TV slot, right?
That's true.
Yeah,
Yep,
they do.
good point. So yeah, I'll head right back to the paddock then.
All right. We'll be careful getting back there. The chat, by the way, is loving this. They've got we getting lots of comments, and also people are starting to weigh in with their picks with confidence here. Kyle, I like this one, Commandment, coming in as a play from one of our viewers here. Let us know who you like. Let us know who you're going with in the Curlin Florida Derby. Here's a play for the Puma. I think we're all a little cool on the Puma. We're not that hot on the Puma here on this show, but who knows? Maybe we get surprised. I thought it was interesting what Rajiv said about trying different tactics. I think I've noticed that in the past. For the Puma, does that mean they try to send them early? I mean, I guess that's all they haven't done with them yet.
I would think, yeah. I got to interject this real quick. I'm looking at the win pool. There is $550,000 in the win pool, so it's a significant amount of money, and nearly is 1-2.
Jeez.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Good Lord.
I mean, safe to say the word is out.
You know, Ryan, I don't know, but there is no way I could play anyone in this race at 1-2 with as good as this
I
is.
completely agree with you. That's why I'm really happy I'm alive in all the horizontals to it.
Good,
because there's
good.
no shot I'd be
Wow.
like, it's just not worth it. You got to take a shot with somebody else.
Yeah,
if
I
you
mean,
see 1-2, or you just sit the race and hope. But yeah, it's 1-2 is insane.
And the Puma is 9-1.
Interesting. Wow.
Drift
All right.
up.
There are your prices for the Pan American. The Exacta paid $12. The Tri for $1 paid $20.60. The Super paid $67.90. We'll see what this first flash of the full odds board looks like. Obviously, as Ryan just told us, nearly is going to be really, really short. Guys, potty break for me. I'm going to let you carry this for about 2 minutes.
We got you.
I'll be right back.
All right, Ryan. Kyle, as he walks through what looks like the grandstands and an absolute zoo out there. All right, going into the Florida. We'll wait for Dan to get back to get your official picks and everything. But obviously, I think, are you still playing in this contest as well?
Not in Gulfstream, no.
Not a Gulfstream. Okay,
no.
So no contest at Gulfstream. But if you're playing this, I don't know if you're alive to anything horizontal, but I mean, is it as simple as a 3-horse race? And I know that seems outrageous in a 6-horse field, but when it's these 2 top contenders coming out of the Fountain of Youth, and then you have a horse like Nearly, who has clearly, I think, in the morning showed that he's progressed and matured, and then I mean, he looks to be the 3rd best horse on numbers, regardless of kind of where you put the Tampa Bay Derby number. I don't think it could jump up 10 figures based on what he ran. So even if you want to give that a +4, +5, that still puts the Puma considerably behind what these guys ran in their last out effort. If you subscribe to the paired up the buyer speed figure tops for Nearly, each of those last 2 certainly look like he's going to progress. We see 3-5 right now. I mean, who to you presents the value to me? 2-1 or 3-1 on Chief Wallaby is ridiculous.
Yeah. Either Chief Wallaby at 3-1 or Commandment at 7-2 makes a ton more sense to me than Nearly at 3-5. I mean, these are all horses that have run numbers that are fast enough that if they move forward a little bit, they're serious Derby contenders, and all 3 have a right to. So
look at these. How about the pick 4 Will Pays? We just saw the pick 3.
Yep.
Commandment's the favorite in the pick 4s. Was the favorite in the pick 3s. Nearly is the clear 3rd choice. And, for those watching, Will Pays for pick 3, 4, 5, and 6 is certainly how you can tell where that late money is going to end up, if you kind of catch my drift. So what do you make of this, Ryan? Because we looked double probables.
Look at the pick 5, Ryan.
It's
clear.
tricky because
this is nuts.
This is the kind of weird betting that you get in some of these big races with potentially, I don't know this, but I'm just speculating, these big partnership horses. When you get a horse like Nearly, or you get sometimes like West Point Thoroughbreds or places like that, you got all the partners out there in the suits and the dresses and getting excited to have their horse on the Derby trail, and they want to get that win bet early in. They want to get those win bets in early in the day. So that might be a little bit of what's going on here. it'll be interesting to see, because a lot of times you are going to see, like you just said, that late money will probably come in on the others, but will it be enough to actually make it line up? I'm not so sure. And sometimes you see in these big races, it doesn't necessarily line up the same way that it does on a typical Friday afternoon at Aqueduct. It's a little different of a market, but that's why these are great betting races, because you can take advantage of your opinion within the pool that makes the most sense. So, like Ryan liking Nearly, you got live and horizontals, which you're going to get paid better than 3 to 5 in there. If I'm going to try to beat Nearly, I'm going to play the win pool and go wherever that value lies. And that's what really creates a really good opportunity, no matter who you like.
100%. I also think with the size that this pool is going to be, you mentioned 550K, and that was about 3 minutes ago. So that was almost 20 minutes to post. The pools are going to be so big that late odds change is not going to be as drastic, significant as you might see with some of those smaller races. So I think you are going to kind of know your price as there a few minutes to post. And I'm hoping that Nearly's price drifts up a little bit. But either way, I mean, this ends most of my sequences that I'm alive to him in. So hopefully, as long as he gets the job done, we're going to be all good. But I mean, the price discrepancy here, I take back what I just said. I hope he Nearly stays at 3 to 5, so I can easily hedge with Wallaby and Commandment. I mean,
you're in a great position if you're live to a good score to him. You can hedge this at 7 to 2 and 3 to 1, and basically.
Yeah, ignore my first comment. I was getting greedy.
Yeah, just pray that Puma doesn't beat you then.
Without a doubt. Kyle, are the horses in the paddock? They got to be making their way there shortly. How crowded is it in there as well?
The paddock's blissful, actually. It's not that bad in here. Outside of it's a different story. Horses have been coming in the paddock with usually about 10 minutes to post, somewhere in there. So unless they change it for the big race, I see a bunch of people all crowding around the saddling paddock. For those that don't know, Gulfstream has 2 different paddocks. They have the saddling one and then the walking ring, which is where I am right now. So bunch of congregation over there. Should be a couple minutes, but yeah, I'm with you guys. This is just very weird. And in your position, Ryan, I mean, I fully agree. You hope it stays 3 to 5, 3 to 1, 7 to 2, not only for kind of giving you maybe even more confidence that Nearly was going to win, but also it doesn't matter to you considering your price is already locked in.
Exactly. Yeah, my price. Yeah, again, ignore that first comment I made because that was just me being greedy. I am very happy if Nearly stays at 3 to 5 because, yeah, that's going to open up the opportunities for me to, back things up if I so choose. Curious to see, Kyle, when they get in there, because I would love to know, who looks the best. It's going to be 4 fantastic-looking animals, if I had to guess, seeing as how, they've all presented themselves.
Don't worry, Ryan. I'll give you my best Maggie Wolfendale impression.
There we go. Thank you.
And all
Maggie, go.
Yep. And without all the skill and all the looks as well. So you lose both of those things with me. So, but I'll be sure to at least show you the horses and everyone out there because this is good access. I'm glad, very happy, and thanks to Gulfstream Park for giving me this access, obviously.
Absolutely. And thank you for giving us this access.
Yeah, Kyle MVP of the show so far, and I think you pretty much got it locked up. So thank you for giving us that view. Ryan P, while I was gone, did you reveal what your play is here yet, or are you still holding it?
No, I wanted to wait for you.
Thank you, brother.
So here's my 2 cents on this race. Nearly Commandment and Chief Wallaby have all run, and I said this before while you were gone, but they've all run numbers that if they move forward at all, they're now with Paladin being out, probably the Derby favorite, if not one of the Derby favorites. They're all 3 have the right and the opportunity to be that kind of animal. My issue with Nearly is in his last race, they went very fast early. And his late pace figure was not quite what I would want to see, especially for a horse that I already have a little bit of a reservation whether he wants to go longer. I think he might be more of a dirt mile type. He has the right to prove me wrong today. I'm not going to be shocked when he beats me, but especially at this price, I'm going to take a little bit of a stab against. I'm going to try to use the 2 out of the Fountain of Youth. That was a much, in my opinion, faster race, and they really finished well in that race. I think those 2 might be better to move forward. Now, between the 2, the one I want is Chief Wallaby. So when Bill Mott, I think Ryan said a little bit earlier, but Bill Mott is not the kind of trainer to really put the screws in him in the first race and, see a horse break its maiden impressively first time out. He kind of lets the horses come into their own on their own timeline. And when they win first time out, and then, you know, they didn't even want to put him into the Fountain of Youth. They did, and he almost won it anyway with potential. He might have ran faster than Commandment. He just caught a wider trip, in my opinion. And, you know, he did that. It wasn't like they pushed him to do that. So I'm expecting another move forward from him today. And if he improves, I think he's the most likely to improve of the three. And I think he's really talented and might be, I don't want to jinx it too early, but we might have another Sovereignty situation on our hands here. But that said, last year Sovereignty ran second in this race, then won the Derby. That wouldn't shock me today either. This is not a race that I'm, you know, this is not going to be the biggest play of my year. You know, this is a prep race that, you know, the other thing too is with Commandment, and my lean to Chief Wallaby over Commandment is Commandment really doesn't need to win this. Like we said earlier, he has the points to get to the Derby. So I think that Chief Wallaby might be more positioned for that A effort today, and that's going to be my pick. I'm going to play Chief Wallaby to win, and then I'll play a little exacta with Commandment as well.
All right. How do we see the pace unfolding here? We spoke to Rajiv earlier, who kind of indicated maybe change of tactics, so maybe the Puma's a little more forwardly placed. Nearly's got some speed. Who else do you think might mix it up earlier? Who might find themselves on the front end? Maybe like a Wayne's Law, potentially, the 3-horse?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you'd think with horses like Timeless Victory and like Wayne's Law, their only shot to spring an upset to get some points is to go. So I think on paper, that would be what would maybe make the most sense, is we're with Kyle now. Horses look to be coming on into the paddock, but I think Nearly is naturally quicker than both of those. And more than that, just can kind of get himself in a good position. I mean, Johnny V has gotten that Hall of Fame career by having that patented kind of, you know, too wide stalking trip. And I think that's kind of what he's going to work out in a spot like this. Nearly does need, some points to still get in the starting gate. So I think him and Chief Wallaby both positioned for A efforts. Commandment and the Puma, they're already in the gate based on their points. They don't need to win. So I really do think it's kind of one of those two within the top 4 contenders. And again, to me, then I'll go to the workout tapes, and it's a tale of two different workout based trainers, because Todd Pletcher, he'll kind of routinely have his horses looking the way that they do when they're, primed up for a big race. Bill Mott's almost the opposite, where you never get those, all out works. You're not going to see a whole lot of bullets on his tab. You're not going to see, horses like that unless they're, truly special. And I think Commandment's works look very strong. I think Nearly's just look a little bit stronger.
And real quick, my rebuttal, I mean, not really rebuttal, because I completely understand what you guys are saying about Commandment and the Puma. However, this is still $1 million grade 1. And in terms of stallion possibility, and horse racing is a very volatile game. So stuff can change at a moment's instant. Do you really think Commandment's, and maybe the Puma, but definitely Commandment's not cranked for a race like this, where he gets the grade 1, he gets $600,000 and becomes the Derby favorite? Like I said, completely understand what you guys are saying, but I feel like that's a different way also to look at it as well, is get the stallion fee early, because if he doesn't, maybe he doesn't run well again after this. Knock on wood that he still does. But like I said, I feel like this grade, especially for these 3-year-olds, this grade 1 is a big deal to a lot of these connections in terms of stallion value.
Without a doubt. I think you bring up a great point. Jackson Muniz and I had Tom Amos on our show, and we asked him that very question, if there's any truth to the, is this horse going to be all the way cranked up for an effort that, he doesn't need the points to? And we kind of referred to the when he had Lone Sailor and was training that horse up to the Derby, and how he kind of, prepares them and gets them ready for each race. He said, as far as he knows for his barn and the way he trained his horses, that was never the case. His horses were always going in the gate with the expectation to win. I expect that to be no different with Brad Cox, with Delgado, with all these guys. I think they're all going in, cranked up, so to speak. They're all going in ready for an A effort. I think that Chief Wallaby and Nearly maybe have that extra incentive to really get to the bottom of their horses if it's needed, because they do need to get into the gate, on top of the fact that it is, of course, $1 million grade 1. So everybody's trying to win this race.
For me, with Chief Wallaby, that's definitely a great point, Kyle. But for me with Chief Wallaby, it's more so just third start in the form cycle, should continue to move forward. Mott takes his time. I expect him to improve. It's not necessarily as much like the intent. I guess the intent's there for all of them. I just think we got the potential, and there's multiple potentials here to have really special horses. And I think he has the highest potential, the highest ceiling of the group.
No, and that's a very fair point, and I think that's very true. Here they come, guys.
Let's go.
Kyle down there in the paddock. There's Chief Wallaby. We've got some love in the chat for Chief Wallaby as well.
How about this camera work?
This is incredible. This is incredible.
And here's the big boy. He's a very big.
He looks great. He looks amazing.
He's probably 2 hands taller than Chief Wallaby is. He's a big colt. And then Nearly's coming
look at
out
Todd
right
Pletcher
now.
in a suit. Oh,
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, everyone's here. I didn't see Brad earlier, but Brad did show up. So, and with him having Renegade, makes a lot, gives a lot of thought. And there's the Puma coming back out.
Well, yeah, so Pletcher's here. Meanwhile, Irad has hopped off of Commandment to go ride Renegade. So that, you're almost splitting hairs at that point of who you really think, each person thinks is their top contender, maybe, if you want to read into it that way.
I was watching earlier, they interviewed Irad, and they asked him, the question that everyone wants to ask, hey, these are potentially 2 of the Derby favorites, and you picked one over the other. What's your thought on this? And he was just like, I go where my agent tells me, man. I'm ready. I'm gonna ride hard wherever I am. He was just very much, I'm not getting in the weeds of this. I'll let you guys have those conversations.
That is a great answer he gave. And the right one.
Yep.
Oh, that's
I saw something in the chat that was curious here. This comment, win number 7, that's Timeless Victory, who's like 50 to 1 right now. Are we sleeping on this horse a little bit? I know he's a cut well below these on speed figures, and all the rest are coming out of a 6-length allowance win. Is there any reason to think Timeless Victory? I mean, the light bulb went on. Maybe there's something there.
I go ahead, Ryan.
Oh, sorry. He would have to improve significantly. And my other fear with him is his best 2 races are the 2 races, the last 2 which he added Lasix for. So if the Lasix had anything to do with that, that could be an issue here today. If it is that he's just improving, maybe. But I think he's in a little bit tough today.
Yeah, the one other thing with Timeless Victory, this is going to be the final starter for trainer Eddie Plisa Jr., who's going to retire after this race. So, I guess he's going to retire, but maybe he's not going to retire if the horse wins or finishes second. Maybe there's one more race left.
But I would think he'd stick around until the first Saturday in May at that point.
You would hope so. He's got another month left in him if he can win this race. I think Kyle's video is down. Kyle, we hope you didn't get run over by somebody trying to get a bet in here. So Kyle's down, but hopefully we'll get him back. But no, look, obviously, as people who want to make money on this race, we're looking, we're trying, we're stabbing at, is there a long shot in here? It's got a shot. So Timeless Victory, the 7 at 50 to 1, and Wayne's Law at 35 to 1, who jumped up. The Sam Davis race, finishing behind Renegade a couple of lengths, 35 to 1. Maybe there's a case to be made there. Look at this. All of our videos freezing up on us.
Oh,
I am intrigued to see how Wayne's Law runs just generally to then for an hour from now when the Arkansas Derby's running. If Wayne's Law outruns his odds here, that flatters Renegade's form even more in that Arkansas Derby.
Right, because the Puma has already kind of come back to flatter that form with his victory in the Tampa Bay Derby. Obviously with the Arkansas Derby coming up, 2 major Derby preps, and as we go back to Kyle, maybe.
Whoever wins this race is probably your Derby favorite, right? With Allen being out.
I would think so.
As of now?
Unless an hour later Renegade runs off the screen. I think if he runs and pops a 102 or something, or blackout time steps back up, or litmus tests, probably a bit of a long shot. But I do think Renegade is probably the only one in the Arkansas Derby that could, with a victory, get himself as the favorite. That's not coming out of this race.
Well, the other thing I would say too, whoever runs second or third in here, if they run a huge second by a length, that's not going to scare me off them come the first Saturday in May. That could be potentially an opportunity to bet on the first Saturday in May. You might get better odds than you should if any one of these three runs a huge second or huge third, and everyone gets excited about the winner, and then you get 8-1 on one of these on first Saturday in May. That could be potential opportunity. It's kind of what happened last year with Sovereignty. He ran a really good second in the Florida Derby, and it was just Bill Mott. It was ready to go for the first Saturday in May, and what do you go off at 6-7-1 in the Derby? I mean,
happened with Mage as well.
Yeah,
Mage finished in the try in there, and he goes on to obviously win the Kentucky Derby too. So it's always these races when all the focus is on the winner, because that's where all the popular money goes. I guess you can find good overlays in the pools because of those horses that finish second or third, and are just really running up to a prime race.
Yep.
I mean, right now, looking at this board, Chief Wallaby 2-1 is your second choice. Commandment at 5-2. I mean, it is kind of staggering. I mean, everything being equal, if you just handed somebody the PPs of this race and said who's going to win this race, they'd probably look at it and tell you Commandment's going to win this race.
Yeah, it's not very often that you have a horse that won the Fountain of Youth with the biggest speed figure of anyone in this field and is the third choice. That's if you like crazy. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, it just speaks to how good this field is what I mean.
It does. It also speaks to how sharp everybody thinks they are. If Commandment goes and wins and he's the third choice, we're all going to look really dumb.
Yeah, we're all getting too wise guy on him.
Exactly.
Boy nearly looks good on the track though. Oof.
Yeah, he does. There's nothing worse than when everybody's on the wise guy horse, because obviously that's what makes it the wise guy horse, and then immediately like that's kind of what Blackout Time is going to be in the Arkansas Derby, and that's who I like in there. I think Kenny McPeak is going to have that horse ready, but I mean, you're asking for that horse too.
You're going to try to beat Renegade in there?
Yeah, I am. I'm going to try. It's probably a fool's errand, but watching Oaklawn, dipping in and out of there throughout the day, speed is played relatively well.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of speed in the Arkansas Derby. You have litmus test taking blinkers off. We don't have to dive into that. We're about to go into the Florida Derby, but I am going to try and beat Renegade in there. Probably a fool's errand.
Now we could. I mean, we got a couple of seconds here. I mean, are you not on Silent Tactic? You don't think Silent Tactic's got a shot today?
That horse gives me Sandman vibes.
Oh, ouch,
horse that
ouch.
And I don't mean that in a bad way. He's just a deep closer who always has a lot to do turning for home, and he's got a lot of talent. Mark Cassidy, obviously a superb trainer, and I think I do think in the Derby he's going to have a better chance because he does lay a little bit closer. He's not an absolute dead closer. He obviously loves it at Oaklawn. Boy, that horse looks good too.
Ryan, you do remember who won the Arkansas Derby last year, right?
Of course I do, but there was you also remember that they went 44 to the half in there. So, but no, exactly. So I do like Silent Tactic. I think he's a good deep closer. I think he will get better as the race goes longer. I think he's a perfect horse to kind of key underneath. I think, again, Renegade, Blackout Time, and Silent Tactic, they're going to run 1, 2, 3 in that race. I think to me, those are the top 3 contenders. Litmus Test I'll burn money on him, or I won't burn money on him, I should say. That's a horse that has done nothing but let me down. So if he wins, good for him. But to me, the race kind of revolves around those 3.
Where is Class President running next? Because I
Bluegrass.
Okay, cool.
So Further Ado and Class President look to be headlining the Bluegrass now, obviously with Paladin going to the sidelines for a bit. So that should still be a really good showdown between those two, and Further Ado being the one in there that needs the points if we want to, go down that rabbit hole again.
Yeah. As a Lexington resident, Bluegrass Day is always a Saturday circle on the calendar to get excited for. So the countdown is on.
I'm sad I can't be out there again this year. I was out there with Noah Maher and everybody last year, but going to be up at Santa Anita cheering on Robusta for Team O'Neill, while he's actually going to be hopefully out in New York at Aqueduct for Civil Liberty. Who's supposed to run in there?
He's not staying in Santa Anita.
He's not. He's going to. He's going out to Aqueduct.
That's noteworthy.
It is. Yeah. So take your notes now. He'll be out there. He'll be in a suit.
The old suit angle. Yeah. No, I think I'm going out to Aqueduct next week too, because I'm just like, hey, last Wood at Aqueduct. That's history, man. I want to be there. So, So a couple of people now jumping in on the 4 Commandment. Look, I think nearly now at 6-5 is nearly bettable. You can make a win bet there if you're feeling as confident. I mean, 6-5 looks a lot better than 2-5 or 3-5, whatever it was a couple minutes ago.
It does. 6-5 and then 2-1, 2-1. So Puma at 8-1. That's Ryan. I don't know how you feel about the Puma just in general, but that's too low for me to take.
Yeah, I think he's a really good horse in a race where there's a lot of potentially great horses. That's the way I'll put it. I think that he's going to win another race this year. He's the kind of horse that I want in one of the Pennsylvania Derby or something like that. Like he can win something like that. I'm not sure he's at this level. He can prove me wrong here, and that's what's fun about these Derby preps is these horses are all young, they're all growing, they're all getting better, and trying to predict how they're going to develop is a very difficult thing to do. And I've been proven wrong in these kind of spots plenty of times before. So if you do like him, then 8-1 is, I think, fair. I think that's about a fair price on it.
I like what Mitchell Robinson here did, taking some time off from playing center for the Knicks, jumping into the chat, dropping a 2-6-8 try. So as the horses load, let's get a cold trifecta from the Ryans. Ryan A, give us a cold try.
6-2-4.
6-2-4. Ryan P.
2-4-8. It's gonna be mine.
Wow.
Said toss nearly.
I'm gonna go 6.
Yeah, I am.
4-7.
I actually just bet the 2-4-8 cold trot just for couch change. So
there we go. There we go. Lots of people.
Let's see which Ryan's gonna be happy.
Yep.
and Kyle said here we go. He's just in time. Kyle's popping in. Here he is. Kyle, what's up? How's it look?
Looks pretty good from my point of view.
There we go. Right. Wow, look at that. Right
Kyle,
there.
real quick, who looked the best?
Wow.
Commandment looks, they all look really good. Everyone was calm. Commandment's a bigger colt. So he was on his toes. And Wayne's Law's going.
Good start for Wayne's Law on his outside, timeless victory, and in between them, nearly got away cleanly. Chief Wallaby is out the rail. He's on a hold from Junior Alvarado and races in 4th. The 2 at the back are the Puma and Commandment. Around the first turn they go. They're chasing long shot Wayne's Law, who's on top by a length and a half. Second is Nearly. He's in a comfortable position in a flanking role with Chief Wallaby 3rd at the inside. Back to 4th in timeless victory. Patient at the back, Commandment and the Puma. The field separated by 4 lengths as they pass the opening quarter. That opening quarter was quite reasonable, just 24 seconds flat. Wayne's Law the leader. John Velasquez has Nearly right where he wants him, on the hip of the leader while in the clear 2nd. Junior Alvarado is tucked in 3rd with Chief Wallaby from timeless victory, who's now 4th. Castellano guides the Puma to the air. He's up on the outside second last. And at the back of the field is a patient Flavian Pratt on Commandment, last of the 6 with less than 5 furlongs to race.
Get your trip, Ryan.
The opening half mile was 40.
Exactly what I want.
As they make their way to the final half mile of the 75th Florida Derby, it's Nearly turning up the pressure on Wayne's Law. Timeless Victory is 3rd. Locked in the box is Chief Wallaby. On the far outside,
send him, Johnny.
He's poised to pounce. A gap of 2 more to Commandment, who's at the back of the field as the pace quickens and they swing around the far turn. Castellano moving on
got run.
He gets a length of Nearly, who tries to quicken away. Dropping back to 3rd is Wayne. Swung to the center.
The Puma
working to the clear.
Puma.
Less than a quarter mile to go, and the Puma has made the lead.
Oh my!
Puma sticks a neck in front of Nearly as they
come on, Johnny.
Stretch drive. Chief Wallaby trying to angle off their flank down the center. Commandment. The 4 big shots with 1/8 of a mile more to decide. The Puma lead. Running at him from the outside is Commandment. In between horses, Chief Wallaby. A thrilling finish to the Florida Derby. Here comes Commandment. The Puma tries to turn him back. It's a win photo.
I don't know who
it's
got
an
that.
inch and a half either way. It's the Puma on the inside. It's Commandment on the outside. They were locked in metal toward the finish with Chief Wallaby 3rd in 149-4.
I thought inside
to decide the winner of the
gun in my head. I had the Puma.
Derby.
I'd go the other way, but it's close. I don't know.
God.
Well,
what just happened? Wow. I mean, and did Nearly finish 4th?
Yeah. Nearly finished 4th.
So that's 15 points. Is that enough? I
don't think so. Well, that puts him at 40. Yeah.
Do you have 25? So 40.
Oh,
Ooh, I don't know.
this camera angle is always pretty deceiving too.
Yeah, it's tough.
That was an
Boy,
insane finish.
when I said
Boy.
the Puma has a right to prove me wrong, he just did.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Wow.
God, the Puma. Wow.
At the risk of sounding biased, Wallaby got bobbled up a little bit and was only a half a
He
length
did.
off.
You should love that though, right? Oh, I can't tell.
Wow, that's close.
God. Kyle, Kyle, you're on mute. Kyle, you're muted. Let me see if we can unmute you.
They're showing Commandment on the board right now. I think that was a
Yeah.
very
Commandment on the
weird
outside.
camera angle.
Oh,
I think he got the bob.
Did they
He
post
definitely
it?
Got the bob. They're showing Commandment on the big.
Oh my God.
I don't know. It's going to be really close. They're
What a
putting him up,
race.
and they put him up.
that was
Let's go.
Commandment.
nice.
Look at this. Kyle wins the day. Kyle wins the day.
Nicely
With the
done,
ankles,
Kyle.
With the picks.
I'll tell you what, guys. 24-1, 44-4, 113 flat. For this type of track and for him to close like that,
That was impressive.
that's a damn good racehorse. And
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
very
that's-
excited now for Saturday in May. Knock on wood, he stays healthy.
Those are a couple good pickup mounts for Flavian Pratt in back-to-back races.
Yeah. Now, Ryan P., I mean, you said you didn't have to win this race with Wallaby. Did you see enough there to kind of make you feel good heading into next month?
I'll have to watch the replay, but my gut reaction is he ran pretty well and he got bottled up. I think he had a little more horse and he could have moved earlier if he could have gotten out. Maybe not. I don't know. He did get out finished by Commandment now 2 times in a row, so that worries me a little. But I'm going to hold back on making my final judgment on him for the first Saturday in May for now. Because, I mean, he only lost, I just said before the race, if someone loses by a length, don't be afraid to use him in the Derby. And that's exactly what just happened. And if this race comes back really fast, I think all 3 of those are really dangerous in the Derby. I think nearly, I think may have distance limitations on my.
Yeah.
That's my
I
gut.
think you were
That's
spot
my gut
on with
reaction
that.
to that.
Because, you could see Johnny tried to do the exact same move he's done in the previous 3 races and just extend out on that far turn, and he didn't have it. Javier Castellano, fantastic move on the Puma on the far turn. He got that horse right into contention, and I mean, I want to see that photo because that has to be desperately close.
Now with nearly again, I mean, what do you do, right? I mean, even if he has
Pat
the
Day
Puma-
Mile.
Pat Day Miles what they should.
Pat Day Miles.
Well, let's see what happens with Renegade now. If Fletcher has one of the Derby
That's
favorites,
true.
that can change that a little. Maybe that's different. Never mind. They'll probably go to the Derby though if they have the points. I can't imagine you're going to take a partnership horse and not go to the Derby if you have the chance.
Right. So Ryan, when Dan was gone, we were going over the will pays, and Commandment was favored in everything, and he got there. It took him every single inch of the stretch to do it, but he did get up on top. 9-5 though. Second choice.
Wow. So the Puma's interesting. We talked about they didn't really need any other points.
Yep.
And he still ran what looked like an A race. If that's not his A race,
Then watch out.
Is the Puma better than that?
Yeah.
If he is, I mean, good luck everybody else, because that was
the noteworthy
strong
thing about the Puma too. That's off 3 weeks. I mean, he's gonna have time to freshen up before the Derby too. It'll be interesting. This is definitely gonna be a key race that's gonna get talked about a lot over the next 5 weeks.
Oof. Wow. Yeah, that was an awesome race here. We got a bunch of people in the chat. I mean, I'm blown away by how well the Puma ran. I think we all expected a little bit of regression or maybe not an A race. And
at the top, I thought he was a winner. I really thought. I can't believe Commandment ran him down with those fractions, which flatters Commandment.
It does. More. You could tell that that last less than a 16th of a mile, he learned where the finish line was in the last race, I guess, and he finished through the wire to the point Rajiv made, where Irad rode him out last time.
Yep.
To kind of make sure that he finished off those races. He finished that race for sure.
We're back with Kyle's view down there at the winner circle. Commandment heading back to the barn. Kyle, can you hear us?
I can. I'm not shaking, but I'm very happy with what just happened.
Oh my God, that was incredible. That was really, really good.
I'm glad that I was muted, but also I'm not glad I was muted because that would have been good content for you guys to use. But
now we got a couple of people here. King Eric said, "I don't think we've seen the Derby winner," and then we've got a response that's saying, "I think you're right." Was that overall less impressive than what you expected from that field? I don't know. I mean, is that
it always gives me pause when you do have 3 horses on the wire together, because did they all run really fast or were they all just kind of okay? My gut reaction after knowing what the figures were in their previous races is that they might all be really good. But it's hard to tell until we actually see what the number comes back at. They didn't go super fast early, so it's kind of hard to – the final number might not be as fast as some would hope. But.
Right.
God. All right, so Commandment. Who rides Commandment in the Derby? It's Pratt?
I would think.
I think so.
Especially if Renegade runs well, I would assume it's going to be Pratt.
Yeah.
Not to mention Cox uses Pratt all the time now.
Yeah. Very true. It's going to be fun.
And Chief Wallaby's going, right? Obviously. I mean, it's Junior and Mott.
I think that's a safe bet.
Man. Unbelievable. I think that was surprising. That was a fairly, I mean, like, I don't know. I think we all expected something a little different, except for maybe Kyle. Kyle was all over it.
Yeah, Kyle was covered that race, so good. The cameraman gets his payment for the day.
Oh, he deserves it. He
does. He does.
All right, looks like he's
for 5 weeks.
His video's breaking up. Kyle, can you hear us still? No, he's breaking up.
I do think Commandment's going to be the favorite in the Derby.
Can you hear me?
We got you. All right, final thoughts from you. What do you say?
You can blame my dad for that one. My dad kept calling me, so I apologize for him on my phone.
All right, Kyle, great work out there, man, and great handicapping all day too.
Fantastic.
This is one of those days. Everyone has one of those days every now and again. It always, I guess, feels better when it's one of these bigger days and everyone's watching and stuff like that. But I've been getting my you-know-what kicked a couple of these last weeks, and glad to finally get a good one. And it helps to have more implications down the road as well.
Nice. We're looking at they've got the overview shot here again, the overhead shot again. Now Brad Cox. All right, good stuff. All right, let's kick it around the room here one last time, everybody. Ryan, thoughts, Derby thoughts, outlook here as we're a month out. I know we got an Arkansas Derby coming up, but thoughts as we sit here today.
The Puma is a real racehorse, and I think he's going to be the horse that's going to maybe provide one of the best prices between Wallaby, Commandment, and the Puma. So I think that move he made off 3 weeks rest to Ryan's point, that was a sharp move. He was, it's tough to come from where him and Commandment did on the Gulfstream Park racetrack, and he did it very strongly. So I think it's one where, I'm excited to see this first Saturday in May, because we've yet to see a true standout, but there are some really, I think, top class horses that are going to be going in there. And as Ryan pointed out, I think, there's potential for a lot of these 3-year-olds to be great.
Ryan P.
Yeah, I agree. It's a fun year because there's not one standout. There's potential for 6 or 7 horses to be really, really good. And it's going to be fun to see. A couple of them are going to be really good. I'm just not sure which yet. But it's going to be fun to watch it play out throughout the Triple Crown. And I think it's a very competitive Derby this year. And we'll see what Renegade does in an hour. He's got a chance to kind of maybe stamp himself as one of the favorites too. And it's a fun year. It's very competitive, which I prefer that than having one huge standout. I love where we got 6 horses that we feel like are all potentially superstars.
We got Arkansas Derby coming up. We got the Santa Anita Derby next week. We got the Wood Memorial. Kyle, safe to say you're a commandment guy.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is that, I guess you could say I was doing it before it was cool. But honestly, I agree with everyone. It's that Ryan pointed it out. It's the blanket finish, especially on the dirt. You really never like to see that in terms of a replay. But I just think it's to the point that all 3 of those might just be very good. And they all just choose to run, they all just showed up to run against each other. We'll see how good Renegade is, but depending on that number, I think he's probably going to be the most likely Derby favorite going in, unless, again, someone freaks in the bluegrass or something like that. But he's shown what he can do. And the thing that actually was, talked to Matt Bernier on the way back, and he said, he's just got a mind. He's run from 3 different ways, from the Mucho Macho Man, where he was ahead by 4 lengths coming to the stretch. In the Fountain of Youth, he was on the inside. And then in this, he came from the outside. So he's had all 3 of the kind of preps that you kind of want to have. And to Rajiv's point earlier, trying to get them to do something they haven't done yet, and him to the outside like that, going wide the whole way around the turn and being able to finish still, I'm very happy.
Good stuff. All right, we'll see how the rest of this plays out. Next couple of weeks, we'll have some more answers. Then we'll have the Kentucky Derby in a month from now. But boys, this was fun. We got to run this back sometime soon. I like this crew.
This is a ton of fun. Anytime you want, Dan.
Just say, would love to, Dan. Anytime.
Love it, love it. All right, thank you to the Ryans, to Kyle, to our guests. We had Donald Little, then Rajiv Barrage. This has been awesome. So you've been watching Road to Derby Live, Florida Derby. We will see you sometime soon. Yeah, this has been awesome. All right, guys. See you next time.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you.